Hi everyone, it's Max. Wow, I think it's echoey, which kind of sucks, gonna admit it. I am filming for the first time in like 8 months. I am house sitting in a tiny little cabin, and so I'm really sorry that it's echoey. Should I try opening a window and see if that helps? Does that help the echo at all? I don't know, we'll see. I'm really sorry about that. By the time you see this, I think at least one video will be going up before this saying like where I've been, my year in reading and everything. But this is the first video that I am filming, so I am a little rusty. But today I'm here to bring you my August TBR, which is connected to a G at Book Roast's Orilium Academy readathon. It used to be the magical readathon, but then after all of J.K. Rowling's revelations, Book Roast changed it to be her own thing. It is phenomenal. I have been participating in this readathon for as long as it's been going on. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. It is like the best way for me to bust through so many books. Every year I have been able to read all 36, but this month we have 2 more categories, which means there are going to be 42 books in total. Have I planned it out so that I could get to every single one of them this month? Yes. Will it work? Probably not. I am starting a new job on Monday, and so I don't even know like what that's going to be like. I think it will work out because it is at a hospital, but it's like in the national park, and they told me, they were like, listen, sometimes it's really slow, bring stuff that you might want to do. And like the person who hired me referenced knitting, and I was like reading? They're like, yes, bring as many books as you think you like, you know, just bring a bunch of books because you will be reading. And I am hoping to do, so it's like a 4-day week schedule and 10-hour shifts. And so I'm hoping to do Monday through Thursday, and then I can stay in the park in a camper so I don't have to drive back and forth, which would be really awesome. And just like, I would just be on my own with plenty of time to read. So fingers crossed that's going to work out. I am also doing Dungeons and Dragons every other Friday. I am the dungeon master. It's really exciting. We're having a lot of fun. The last time we talked, I was like planning it or had just started. No, we started in December, so I don't even know if like I told you guys about my Dungeons and Dragons group, but we are going strong. We've been doing it since really January. Our first meet was in December, but we didn't really meet until January. And it's going really great, actually. We're having a lot of fun, but that is taking up like every other Friday for me, but that's okay. So I guess without further ado, let's just get into this. I will be weekly vlogging, so I am going to try to go through this fairly fast. I do have 42 books to talk about, but I will have weekly vlogs, and so keep your eyes open for those and to get my real in-depth thoughts on these books. But if you do not know the Magical Readathon or the Orilium Academy Readathon, there are 3 prompts per class that you can take, and there's an O for, I think it tells us, O for ordinary, Q for qualified, or if you read all 3 books to match all 3 prompts per class, you are distinguished. You can also choose class, like, or a job that you want to do, or a career path, and it tells you like which prompts you really have to read to match that career path. I usually don't pay attention to career paths because I usually read all of the books and then I'm just like, yep, done, don't even worry about it. But in case it is a different readathon now, where choices you make in one readathon impact the next readathon. So I have decided to be a necromancer because why not? I think it would be fun. It's also, most of the prompts, sorry, I've got bug bites and they itch really badly, so I might be itching, you know, subconsciously. But I was interested, like the prompts for necromancy, I could fit the most easily like books in, if that at all makes sense. You'll see. But I do have books per every class, and I'm just gonna go through the classes and then mention when one class connects with my necromantic career path. So the first class is Alchemy, and to get an O in Alchemy, the category is Basics of Poison, and it is to read a book on someone's worst list that you think you might like. Now, this is a worst list. Thankfully, it's pretty vague, where Kayla from Books and Lala read this in the like Dewey's 48-hour readathon, and she didn't love it. And I think she's referenced it since then on like books that she didn't enjoy, and it might show up on her worst list. But I am intrigued for many reasons, and usually she and I don't actually see eye to eye on a lot of sci-fi, because I love like in space sci-fi. She loves like Earth sci-fi. So the book that I'm talking about is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. It's a library cover, so forgive the glare. This is about a crew that finds like an abandoned like space cruise ship, and I think it's like horror, but she's like telling it the story like she's back on Earth or back on like her planet or whatever, like telling the story of what happened. So I am hoping for sci-fi, I am hoping for horror. I know those are the two main categories, but I really want it to be like spooky. They're stuck on a spaceship. There's not much they can do. Like, I love scuba diving, and I don't find scuba diving scary, but I do find space to be nerve-wracking, because it is like, and it's for reasons that should be similar to scuba diving. So like, you only have one air source, you could just start floating off and die out there, you know, like it's just, they're very similar but very different. And while I don't find water, like the ocean, scary, I do find space scary. Kayla didn't love this, but I kind of hope I will. To get a Q in Alchemy, you have to hit the prompt poison, acidic amber, so it's like a type of poison, and this is to read a book with an orange cover, or read an orange book. The only orange book I have is Pandora's Jar with this and this, and I think, yeah, it looks pretty orange on the screen, but it is definitely orange, by Natalie Haynes. I am very excited for this. I really enjoyed The 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, and this is all about Pandora, the woman who opened the jar and released like all these horrors onto the earth, I think. I really loved The 1,000 Ships. She is really good at kind of showing like women's perspectives and not making, like, villainizing them. Like, I'm not Natalie Haynes, and so I am really excited to read Pandora's Jar. It is super short, so I have really good feelings about this one. And to get a distinguished in Alchemy, it is Poison Willowweed, and this is to read a book with one word title. For this, I'm going with an e-arc that I have. I'm pretty sure the book is already out, but that is Upgrade by Blake Crouch, and this has to do with like the genome. Like, this guy finds out that his genes were altered in some way. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I have loved Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I enjoyed his other book that he wrote that's like his sci-fi. On to the next class. It is Animal Studies, and for this I have to get an O, which is just the first prompt, and the first prompt is Study of Familiars, and it is read a book with a familiar or an animal companion. For this, I'm going with the graphic novel The Mighty Nine Caleb, where Caleb, who is the wizard of the Mighty Nine, which is a Critical Role campaign 2, he's got a familiar that is a cat. The next category is Q, and that is Familiars Raven, and this is to read a book with a raven on the cover or in the title. And for this, I'm going with Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. There was a raven on the title. For a long time, I thought it was The Ninth Raven, and then I realized it was Rain. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about this. I think there's like a thief that gets hired, or he's like, something happened and he's no longer, like, he's considered oathless, but he is hired to, to like do something. And so he teams up with a bunch of people, and there's like they find out bad things are happening. Wow. I'm not doing well with this. I haven't read the synopsis in a while, but I am really excited. I've got high hopes for this. I own the second book and then the third book on Nook. So I do really, really hope that I enjoy this, so I will continue on in the series. It is one of the longer ones on my TBR, but I am just really excited for this. She also has a dragon trilogy, so if I love this trilogy, hopefully I will love that one as well, and maybe I'll find a new favorite author. But Raven, right here. And then the third prompt is Familiar's Rabbit or Hare, and this is to read a book with a rabbit on the cover or in the title. I am going with Bunny by Mona Awad, I think it's called. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. Everyone seems to love it. I have put it on hold at the library, but I will be honest with you, this is the book that is last on my TBR for this entire readathon. The third class is Art of Illusion, and to get an O in Art of Illusion, it is Blurface. Read a book you don't know much about. For this, I'm going with one of my 2 audiobooks I will be talking about, and that is The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This is becoming a Netflix show or movie, I think, with Gwendolyn Christie, the woman who played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones, and I am excited for it. I don't know like literally anything about it. I know there's like Morpheus, like the god of dreams, or like there's like, it has to do with like hell, I think. Like, here we go. And it was originally graphic novels, but I got the audiobook of it because it's, I think, full cast, and I just like I thought it would be interesting. So I've got that one, and obviously I don't know much about it. To get a Q in Minor Illusions, it is minor, or no, sorry, to get a Q in Art of Illusions, it is Minor Illusions, and this is to read a book under 300 pages. And this book comes in at 299. The Cabinet by Soo Kim. This was, Barnes & Noble just had a huge, like all hardcovers, 50%, buy one, get one 50% off, and some paperbacks. And I wanted another book for paperback, but the only, like, this was the only one that either I hadn't read or was interested in. And this seems kind of surreal. It's like, it feels like an office place, but then like it's like surrealist fantasy. Not a lot is explained. It's super short, so hopefully I can just fly through this. It's also, I just love the cover. This is pink and like a chameleon and a cat. I really like it. I am intrigued for sure. But I just don't know a whole lot about it. But it is 299 pages, so check. And then for the last prompt for Art of Illusions, it is D Cast Deja Vu, and it is to choose a prompt from the last readathon, which I'm assuming is, like, I'm choosing one from the April readathon. And I chose, what did I choose? Quick read. I can't remember which category it was for, which class, and I'm going with Mighty Nine Witcher. So like it's a graphic novel that the Mighty Nine encounter the Witcher characters. That's all I know about it. I'm into it though. Yeah, I literally just chose all of the Mighty Nine comics, graphic novels that I could find on like Libby or Hoopla, and then a couple Vox Machina, which is campaign 1. But that was like fascinating, and I'm kind of intrigued. I hated the Witcher novels, like the last couple especially, but I am enjoying the show and I like the premise and everything, so we'll see how it goes. The next category or class is Astronomy, and for the first category in Astronomy, it is O Lilieve. Oh boy. It is to read a book with an L in the title. Not even starts with the letter L, just has L in it. And I'm going with Finley Donovan is Killing It. The second of my 4 library books. This is about a woman named Finley Donovan, who I think she's an author, but like someone overhears her talking about like how to kill someone in her book, and they mistaken her as a hitman and hires her. I've heard amazing things recently from Books and Lala, also from one of my best friends, and so I thought this would be fun, fast. It is like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like kind of long. It's like 350 something pages, so not that long, but also just like an easy, fast-paced, funny mystery, so we'll see. Next prompt under Astronomy to get a Q is Raven Ravensbarn, to read a book with archery or rangers. For this, I am going with Vox Machina Origins #1, like volume 1. Vexalia is a ranger, literally, D&D class ranger, and she's really good at archery. So let's go. And I'm pretty sure Vox Machina Origins covers, like, so Vox Machina started before they started filming. So I think it encompasses, like, that section. Like, it's not like the characters' histories, it is just like, this is what happened in our campaign before we started filming it. And so I am really intrigued. So yeah. Last prompt in astronomy to get a D, it is melee, I don't know. And it is to read a book with multiple people on the cover. And for this, I'm going with Dukes Do It Better by Bethany Bennett. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway. I really liked the first one, did not like the second one at all, but I have high hopes. I honestly don't even know what this is about, but it's like, this series follows a group of like male friends, guy friends, and they're them falling in love. So this is the third one. Just thought it'd be fun to have an easy, fast romance in there, so we'll see. Okay, and now onto Conjuration, where I need a D, which means I need to read all 3 books in this category because it's literally all has to do with necromancy, and I am a necromancer, I guess. So for O, The Foundation of Necromancy, read a book with necromancy themes. I'm going with the arc I have of Daphne by Josh Malerman. When I think of necromantic themes, I think of someone coming back from the dead. I think of someone being thought of as dead but might be alive. I think of like ghosts, spirits, and so it's like kind of a ghost story, or like people think she's dead but she's not, but we're not sure. That's all I've got about it. The next one is Tales the Bones Tell, and is to read a book with bones on the cover or in the title, and I'm going with the E-arc I have of Monsters Born and Made. Again, geez, I think it's like people team up to fight these monsters in like a fantasy setting. It's been like so long since I've read some of these synopses that I'm just like, I was like really like just being like, okay, yep, that's got bones on it, great. But I am going to have to read that. It's an e-arc that I have, so I wanted to read it this month anyways. A lot of people have gotten the arc, but I haven't heard a lot of people read it, so I'm not sure like what the reception is on it. So we'll see. And then the last prompt for D, it is Raise Dead Theory, and this is to reread a favorite, and I thought I had it with me. I must have left it at my house, but I'm going to be rereading The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This is, I think, kind of like a hot take because most people love other books by her more, but this is my favorite Maggie Stiefvater novel. It is a standalone about, I don't think it's every year, I think it's every so often, maybe it is every year, there is this race because these horses come out of the water and people can race them, and then if you win like a huge prize. Our 2 main characters are a guy who wants to buy his water horse from, and they're bloodthirsty. These water horses aren't just horses, they are like set to kill. But one of our main characters wants to buy his water horse from the actual owner, and our other main character like tries to like puts herself into race on her regular pony, and they work together. I enjoyed this when I read it. I did get the Owl Crate exclusive edition. I've got to close this, the wasp just fell. The Owl Crates did an exclusive like box for this, and so I really wanted to pick it up again, and so this is when I'm going to do it. The next category is Demonology, where I need to get an O, so I just need to read the first prompt, and that is Imp Wrangling, and that is to read a fantasy. And for this, I'm going with the first book in the second Legend of Drizzt trilogy, and that is The Crystal Shard. She-thick. Actually, how many pages is this? Almost 1,000. That's a lot, because even though, like, yeah. Wow, that's a lot of pages. So The Legend of Drizzt, I'll go with the first trilogy, is about a drow elf named Drizzt who was raised in the Underdark, but then like he doesn't connect with other drow or dark elves. They are too awful and mean for him, and he R.A. Salvatore has written so many series. I think he has 37 or 38 books out right now. I loved the first trilogy, really excited to pick up the second trilogy. You will see all 3 of these books on this TBR. This is the 25th anniversary edition where they compile all of the books in one. It is so nice and floppy and like a really nice size, so I'm pretty excited to pick this up. I'm loving the Drizzt Do'Urden books. I'm not doing a good enough job at describing them. They are so good. Okay, to get a Q in demonology, it is Caro, Demon of Chaos, and this is to use a random number generator on your TBR and choose it. So I compiled all of the books, 42 books that I would want to connect to different prompts, and the one that came up is the Mighty Nine Origins Jesters. And for the last prompt for demonology for a D, it is Banishing Spells 101, and read a book that is at risk of being unhauled. For this, I'm going with Covet by Tracy Wolf. This is the 3rd book in the Crave series. I'm really enjoying them, do not get me wrong. I will be reading this. This is not a risk of being unhauled, like because I don't read it. It is simply because these aren't books that I actually want to own and like keep on my TBR, like on my own shelves. So it probably will be DNF'd at some point no matter what, but I'm definitely reading it before then, so that's when I'm going to read it. And my camera, I need to restart the video, so I'll be back. For the next class, it is Elemental Studies, and to get an O in this, it is Elements of Water, Start a Book with a Drink. And I am going to go with Streams of Silver, the 2nd book in the 2nd Drizzt Do'Urden trilogy, which I just realized Start a Book with a Drink and Streams of Silver, it goes along with that water theme. And then the next prompt was Wind Redirection, which is like point at a book and choose the one next to it. And I was lucky enough to point at this, but I decided to call it, I pointed at Streams of Silver, so I will finish the trilogy with the Halfling's Gem. You know, I'm counting it because it's 3 books in one, so I point at one of the books, I say I'm reading the next book. The final prompt in Elemental Studies is Wave Manipulation, read a book set at sea, and I am picking up Namesake by Adrienne Young. This is the sequel to Fable, and this is about a girl who is a pirate trying to find her dad or prove herself that she can be a pirate to her dad. I remember like what happened in the first one, but I can't remember like what her actual like what she exactly wanted to gain was. Maybe I don't remember a lot from the first one, but I remember the ending. So yep, Namesake, she's a pirate. It's set at sea. There we go. The next class is Spells and Incantations, and to get an O, and I need to get both O and Q in Spells and Incantations, and to get an O, it is Spell Recolor, which is to get a color wheel and choose a random color and have it choose a color. I did an online color wheel. I got purple, and so choose a book that has a cover with purple on it. I'm going with the Adventure Zone Volume 3, Petals to the Metal. There is a fair amount of purple in this. Like, it doesn't look like it, but there's actually like a lot of purple, different colors of purple, but purple nonetheless. To get a Q in Spells and Incantations, it is Incantation Echo, and choose a book from someone's TBR. Now, I am kind of, I am bending the rules for this. I am choosing a book that my friend and I will be buddy reading, and so it is from her TBR, and that is Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller. Honestly, I don't even remember what this is about. It's like, I think she's a blacksmith, and maybe she makes like a magical sword or something. She and I buddy read a book last July, and we had a fun time with it. Once, like every day, we'd read a certain amount of pages and chat about it, and so we want to do it again. And the last prompt for Spells and Incantations is Hex Tongue Tie. This is to annotate a book, and I'm going to annotate an ebook because it's easy to like highlight and stuff, and I'm going with How to Drive a Dragon Crazy. It's like a fun fantasy romance, and this is about a girl who has a dragon chasing her. I can't remember if it's like I think it's like kind of an enemies to lovers, but it's like following her to like protect her, and she's like, screw you, I don't need protection. And so she's like, he's chasing her, like trying to protect her through different things. I don't know, I think it'll be just a funny, fun little thing. The next class is Artificery, and to get an O in that, it is Arcane Engineering Level 1, and this is to read a book with AIs. I might again be kind of, I think it fits, but others might not. But I am going with Adventure Zone, the Crystal Kingdom, because there are robotic-like things in this. Like, there is someone that I could only call like a robot. And so I'm counting it. And this, I will be caught up on the Adventure Zone comics after this guy, but I am really pumped to read it as well. Second category to get a Q is properties of magical alloys, and that is foil on the cover. I was having such a hard time finding a book for this. I don't have any books that have foil on the cover, but I think, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, just let me live this, try to do this. I think the actual cover of Cemetery Boys might have been foiled, and I have the ebook of it. So I'm going to read Cemetery Boys, which also goes with necromantic themes, but Daphne definitely does not have foiling. So this is about a transgender Latinx like brujo, and he is trying to prove that he's like a man and can use male magic, and he tries to raise his cousin who recently died from the dead, or like his ghost, to like talk to him and figure out what happened. Instead, he accidentally raises a classmate who died the same night, maybe the same time as his cousin. I think it's male romance, and they're trying to like figure out like what happened and stuff. I don't really know. That's all I got for you. I think it's gilded. If it's not, just don't, or foiled, just don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let me just live in delusion. And then the last prompt is the faults and diagnostics. Artificery faults diagnostics. These are a lot of words. And this is a second chance author. Now, I didn't hate this author, the other book that I've read by this author, but it didn't make me really want to pick up other books by her. And then I actually did read another book by this author, but it was a very short novella and it was very average. So I don't have the best track record with her, but I've heard such great things about this that I am picking up The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Morena Garcia. And this is the book that I wanted to buy, so I bought the cabinet as well. This is about a girl who has magic, and it's supposed to be very hush-hush, but I think she meets this guy who also has magic, and they are trying to do something. It's also very short, and I love, it's got that soft like matte felt cover, which I love. So I heard great things about this, great things about the author. I am trying really hard to enjoy her, so here we go. All right, for the class Inscription, the first to get just an O, it is Glyph Recollection. This is to read a childhood favorite. For that, I'm just gonna go with Alice in Wonderland. I love Alice in Wonderland. I know I can fly through it really easily. It'll take me, you know, not much time to read. It is my favorite childhood favorite, so there we go. The next category to get a Q is inking techniques, and this is to read a graphic novel, comic, or manga. For this, I'm going with the Chronicles of Exandria, which I think follows the Mighty Nine because they're on the cover, but it's like, I don't even know. It has to do with just Exandria, which is the world of Critical Role. I think there's stories, maybe unseen stuff that the Mighty Nine do or something. So I'm gonna read it. And then the last prompt for Inscription is Stilling the Mind, and it is to have a cozy read. For this, I'm going with Gallant by V.E. Schwab. It's like a haunted house story, and I feel like that could be cozy, you know, snuggled up on the couch, reading like a spooky story. I feel like those are cozy vibes, right? At least they are for me. So I'm gonna read that. The next category, or for the next class, is Lore. To get an O, it is Aildia's Regional Anthropology, which is to read a book that have the colors of your flag. The U.S.'s flag is red, white, and blue. This book has red and white. Should I see what the cover underneath is? No, it's black. Well, it's red and white, and that's all I can do. And that is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This has to do with magicians, and that's literally all I've got. The next prompt is Myth of Sildris, and to read a book that has a betrayal. I don't know. I don't know if this book has a betrayal, but I feel like it's going to, and that is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. I have read Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. I enjoyed it. I did not continue in the series because I think it felt like a good conclusion, and so I just left it at that. But I have heard great things about this. The cover is stunning. The paperback cover is, I love it. I love the cover so much. And this is like about a woman who dies and leaves her whole family, like the fortune, and like they come, but she like dies while they're there, but like leaves a riddle or something. And because like everyone is looking for her fortune, I feel like there's gonna be a betrayal of some sort in here. You know, I feel like with that family drama, there's gonna be a betrayal. There's gotta be, right? Even if it's a minor one, small. I just need a betrayal of some kind. And I think this is the best bet I have of getting that. Then the last prompt in lore is Ancient Caves of Dayrun, and this is to read a book with a desert setting. And I am going with The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is a retelling of 1001 Nights, which is very much in the desert in the Middle East. So I am definitely thinking this is gonna be in the Middle East or the desert setting. I honestly, again, don't know a whole lot of what it's about, but I am just excited about it. The next class is Psionics and Divination, and to get an O in it, you have to read Time Theory 1, which is a book that has time travel. For this, I am going with Blackout by Connie Willis. I read Doomsday Book by Connie Willis in November. I do have a reading vlog on it. It might be literally my last one. I loved Doomsday Book. I really, really liked it. There's one thing I wish that it had done, but other than that, phenomenal. Its sequel, To Say Nothing of the Dog, I DNF'd it. I didn't get the humor. I didn't like it. It wasn't like dramatic, it was humorous, and that's not what I was looking for because it made some of these characters feel really, really unreasonable, and I just didn't like it. But this is back to drama, and I think someone gets stuck in World War II. The next category is Time Theory 2, which is to read a book that has a word, the same word as the last book you read. And I'm not explaining that well, even though I have it literally right here. Book with a same word in the title as your last read. Okay, and I'm going with Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead. Finlay Donovan, there we go, done. This is the sequel to Finlay Donovan is Killing It, and Finlay Donovan is in both titles. So I'm gonna read them back to back, which works out well for a library book, gonna be honest. And the last prompt and category for Psionics and Divination is Introductory Palmistry, which is to read a secondhand book. For this, I'm going with The Last Lies of Arter Ben. I read The 1,000 Deaths of Arter Ben in May, and loved it. So good. Favorite book of the year. I am about to start The Shattered Realm of Arter Ben, the second book, and so and by the time I'm filming this, I still have like a week left in July, so not a problem. And I bought The Shattered Realm of Arter Ben and The Last Lies of Arter Ben through like Amazon's like secondhand thing where you can buy it used. So there we go. All right, the second to last class is Restoration, which I need to get an O in. And the first prompt is Objects Restoration, and this is to read a book with a single object in the okay, so what I am planning is to listen to the audiobook of A Cosmology of Monsters, and there is a hand and like a furred hand, and so it's like, I don't know if it's like the same person, so like this person's arms are the focus, but I mean the furred arm really like draws your focus, and then there's a hand and then just a completely black background, so like this image is the focus and there is nothing else, and that is about as good as I'm gonna get. This is about a boy who sees monsters where his family has like tried to like totally are in denial about it, and he like tries to bring them to life or control them. There's something there. The next prompt is Enchanted Scroll Mending, and this is a book that has been on your TBR for the longest, or one of the longest books, and I'm going with Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Haro. This is long. It's over 500 pages, but so was The Last Lives of Arthur Ben. These two are some of my longest books, and this is like retelling the suffragette movement where there are witches, like actual witches. I've heard great things. This has been on my own TBR, I'm pretty sure the longest. And then the last prompt is Urgent Battle Care, and this is to read a book in 1 or 2 settings, and I'm going with Vox Machina Origins 2. And then the last class is Shape-Shifting, and the first prompt is Formation Wings. Read a book with wings on the cover. And I am going with Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. There is a raven here, or a crow, and there is also a grasshopper, and they both have wings, right? I think it's a standalone. There hasn't been a sequel announced or anything. God, this is longer than I thought, honestly, but it is a standalone. It's like a bunch of people like team up, the band of rogues and royals who unite to defeat an unstoppable character who defies the law of magic. Jeez Louise, my battery's flashing, so let's get through these. I'm excited. We're gonna read it. The second to last book I left it at my house, and that is Instantaneous Momentary Mimicry, and this is a book released this year. I'm reading The Last Judgment of Kings. It's about this person, I don't even know what it's about, but I'm excited. Peruse Project loved it, so I hope I will love it. And the last prompt is Arcane Anatomy. To read a book with anatomy in the title, I am bending the rules and doing an anatomy in the title. I'm going to Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf. And this is about a girl who is tasked by a queen to bring the heart of a prince, and they fall in love instead. That's all I've got, everybody. That's my TBR. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for